Are you ready to take your business to the next level and make the money you want so that you can create the impact you desire? Then you're in the right place. It's possible to run a successful business built around your life. Get ready for a little bit of tough love and a whole lot of strategy to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. If you're ready to get out of your own way and step into the role of CEO, then let's go. I'm Amy Traw, and this is the Motivated CEO Podcast. Well, that was a heck of a week. Talk about technology being just so frustrating. In today's episode, I want to dive in a little bit deeper to something I experienced this past week, and that's what to do when technology fails. So to give you a little context for this, as of February 1st, Google and Yahoo have set new standards for your emails. So you need to have your domain aligned. There's all the stuff that goes into the background to ensure that your email gets delivered properly. So it's not flagged as spam or malware. So I am the over-preparer, right? And I had everything aligned. Everything was perfectly aligned. I have all my little green check marks telling me that my domain's aligned. I have this DMARC thing, whatever that means. I am not a super techie person. So everything's good to go. And one of my normal weekly emails went out, and I started getting screenshots and DMs coming to my inbox saying, just so you know and you're aware that your emails say that they're malware, that they're quarantined and they're not being delivered. So I started to get a little nervous, right? Like, everything's aligned. What do you mean? I am not a hacker. Like, I don't know the first thing about developing or attaching malware to an email. Like, how do you even do that? I'm just happy that I know the basics to be able to send out emails. So I dive into this and I see, like my emails, like there's this big red banner with it. And so I start to panic. I'm going, oh my gosh, like I am in the middle of pre-launch right now. And people were starting to unsubscribe. So what did that do? That took me down the spiral of panicking even more. And so at this point, I'm just like beside myself. I don't even know what to do, how to fix it. So I had to stop and say, okay, you know what? This is not the end of the world. In the grand scheme of things, we'll figure this out. But being in pre-launch, unsubscribes are not a good thing. And if you get too many unsubscribes, then that can cause your email to be blacklisted as well by different email providers. Like there's this whole like snowball effect that happens with it. But when I took the time to pause, I realized, okay, I do have everything backed up on a CSV drive. And this is something I encourage you to do with your email list at least monthly, if not more frequently. Take that email list, and all providers will do this for you, and save a backup to a .csv file. And they'll do it for you. My platform, I just click a button and it saves it right there. That way, if something were to happen, such as this, I have a copy of my list. But I'm creating all of these things and I'm panicking, and I realize, okay, I have this CSV. So worst case scenario, I can always change platforms. I can do damage control. Like, we will figure it out. So I start reaching out to some of my business besties. I post a story on Instagram saying, hey, is anybody else experiencing this problem? If so, can you let me know which email platform that you're using? And message after message started coming in that it is an issue with the email provider. It's not my website. It's not my domain host. It is legitimately the email platform I use for my email list. So I'm searching for answers. I can't find anything from this company saying that anything's wrong with the platform. Nothing. It's crickets from the company, which I'll get to in a little bit about how we manage that, but nothing. So luckily, these amazing business owners that reach out to me told me, you know what, it's not just you. So that was definitely reassuring. Still frustrating because the last thing I want to do right now is change email providers. Up to this point, I've been very satisfied with them. I have had nothing but good things to say. I have all of my automations and workflows built out there. And my biggest reason for not wanting to switch right now and just jump ship to another platform, all of my book launch automations, funnels, literally everything is there. But again, the one saving grace is I had everything in terms of the copy of the content for the emails saved in a Google Doc. So at least all was not lost. I could still access everything. I just couldn't send anything. And meanwhile, the unsubscribes continue to happen over and over and over. But as of 1 week later, we resolved the issue. The crazy part about all of this to me, though, is that there was never once communication from my email provider saying, hey, this issue happened. We are aware of it. I had a friend reach out to me via DM saying she saw something on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, that there was indeed an issue causing everything that was sent out to be flagged as malware. And that was it. There was no communication beyond that. And that's something that as a business owner is so critical, and we can really take a lesson away from this. It's the importance of communication. Yes, technology glitches. It has its pros and cons. It's not perfect. It's still evolving. It's technology. But let's really dive into the humanness of it, right? At the end of the day, we're business owners. This is how we make our living. So you want to constantly be in communication. I don't think I would have been nearly as upset if they would have come out and told me, hey, we're aware of this issue and we're working on a resolution. Instead, it was just crickets. And that's something as a business owner we can take away too. That if something's going on, take the time, take the 5 minutes to let your community know. Make sure you have different ways of communicating with your audience. Email marketing, and I will, full disclosure, I always talk about like, hey, you need to have a list that you own, and that is email marketing. What happens when that list fails? That's where I was at. But luckily, I still have this podcast, and I also have those social media accounts. So I have these very strategic pieces of this puzzle. So I'm not just relying on one thing. And if you pay close enough attention, you'll see I repurpose everything. So the podcast is the longer form content. It then gets repurposed for social media. It also gets repurposed for emails. I'm not reinventing the wheel. And a lot of times I don't post the same content like back to back. I'll kind of offset it by a week, but there's a strategy involved. And this strategy allows you to work smarter instead of harder. You don't have to constantly be reinventing the wheel. So my biggest takeaways from this experience, now everything is fixed and we're back to normal, knock on wood for now. But my biggest takeaway is, just make sure that you're taking the time to back up these systems, that you have these fail-safes in place, that if something were to happen, yes, it would have been extremely frustrating for me to have to go and rebuild all these automations, all these landing pages within a new platform and learn an entirely new platform when I really don't have the time and mental capacity for it right now with everything that's going on in the back end. back up that email. Make sure you keep a copy of your copy that you're using in a separate document, and have those people in your world that you can reach out to when things start to go sideways that save your sanity. Because let me tell you, it was just, I felt so helpless. Like, what's going on? Is this just me? And it turns out, no, it wasn't. And that's okay. I was willing to say, hey, things aren't right here. Things aren't sitting well. And then find a way to resolve the problem. So it was a crazy week, but we survived. We made it through, and yeah, took some lessons away from it. If you're curious as to what my email platform was, or if you experienced this, drop into my DMs. Let's talk about it. I never want to publicly come out and, bash a company. So that's why I think, it's really important that we take these conversations into the DMs. If you're curious, more details, I'm happy to tell you there, especially if you went through the same thing. But I will not disclose it publicly just out of integrity. We all goof up, things happen, but could this situation have been handled better? Absolutely. All right, until next time, cheers to making the money you want so you can create the impact you desire. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.